I'm from LD13, and my partner, Neil Thibodeau, is with LD25. And together, we're creating a compliance safety net within what we call the future complaint process, because in all honesty, there's no complaint process that exists in the county of Maricopa. We're calling this the Arizona Citizen Voice, and there's a web page that's being developed. There's a link down here on this poster. And I just want to thank you so much for having me tonight and giving me a voice to get this out, to give you guys a voice. We need to have a voice. The citizens need a voice. Neil and I have worked in 2 different industries, me from finance, him from the nuclear power plant. But both of us spoke the same language, and that language is called Total Quality Management, Lean Six Sigma, and Corrective Action Plans, which is just another way of saying we come from re-engineering backgrounds, and we see something that's broken, we know how to fix it, and we want to fix it, and we're good to fix it. It starts with a contract, compliance, and then goes into complaints and corrective action plans. And I just realized that we were going to have Hans just do a little introduction. Hans, you want to come up and just do a little intro?
I came into politics 6 years ago after the 2020 election and what can best be described as the maladministration.
Yes.
I'm being kind, right? I got involved. I signed up for the audit, and then there was the Senate hearings. I went and testified in front of the Senate hearings, and there was a very odd moment in the hearings. After I testified, Wendy Rogers cut me off, and she goes, "That's it. I'm convinced the elections are rigged. Whose job is it to enforce these election laws?" And she looked around the room, and then she came back to the microphone. She said, "No, seriously, whose job is it to enforce these election laws?" There were lawyers, legislators, law enforcement, citizens in the room. Nobody could answer the question, right? So what Jamie has is a corrective action plan. It's all about the contracts. There's contracts with Runback, contracts with the United States Postal Service, and you have to hold them accountable, but also know when you put a responsibility on them, what's the penalty if they fail at their responsibility, right? So it's the corrective action plan, the contracts, it strips it all out so that when something goes wrong, you can perfectly script it out what it is they're expected to, what's the penalty, or what's the thing that they could do to not do that again. Here it is 6 years later.
What's the standard?
Yeah, what's the standard? We still don't know. So Jamie's got a great presentation, and I'm excited for you guys to all see this. And I've been doing my best as a member at large to take Jamie and get her in front of as many people as possible to hear what she has to say.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Thank you both, Hans and Veronica and Ray, for having me, and you guys for having me. Thanks for the introduction. The next thing we're going to focus on is what this experience exposed and what we're trying to fix. And then we'll tie it all together at the end with a video, okay? And I'm sorry I'm reading from here, but I get very nervous and I want to make sure I get everything covered. Let's say you want to bring up an ethics or a potential violation of law because you have knowledge about it and you want to help get it fixed. You go to your leader in good faith, and you would think there's a compliance agent on the other end reviewing your concern. Not true. We expose that Maricopa County does not have a valid complaint process. The current process has 2 options. Here's your options. You can go and talk at the Board of Supervisor meeting for 2 minutes and bring your concerns during public speaking. And guess where they go? Option 2, you can send an email about your concerns and try to get that treated as a formal complaint. Neither includes a compliance officer reviewing your concern. Neither holds up to the high standards that we should expect as citizens. They work for us.
Amen.
I followed a complaint process at the county's advice via email. Email, again, is not a best practice to handle citizen complaints. Neil and I's goal is to implement a compliance review and a corrective action into the future complaint process. Once the compliance officer reviews the concern, if nothing is wrong, tell the citizen. Tell them what's been found or what's not been found and close it out. Track it, trace it. Sorry. If something is wrong, tell the citizen that too. Get it fixed, remediate your impacted population, verify the fix worked, monitor it to make sure it never happens again. I'll show you why we need the safety net. On August 4th, at the county manager's direction, I submitted a formal complaint by email to the Maricopa County Procurement Department. That's where the contracts start. After reviewing the runback contract line by line, what caught my attention was the disaster recovery language of the 2020 election. There were multiple versions of Exhibit C and a June 4th, 2020 amendment that said, all other terms and conditions remain unchanged. So, which disaster recovery policy was actually in place for the 2020 election? Come back to the back table and take a look at the runback contract. I have it. There were Exhibit C pages with strike-throughs that said the exact same thing that Exhibit C said without strike-throughs. One had a date of nothing, one had a date of 2016, one had a date of June 4th of 2020. So you tell me which disaster recovery policy was in effect, because I can't find it. And it was also mentioned in an audit report from the Attorney General. I'm not the only citizen who has discovered potential violations of ethics or law. There are people in this room who have fought and brought forward legitimate, documented concerns and are filing formal complaints of their own. I want to encourage that. Citizens should document concerns and ask for answers. But if we're going to encourage our citizens to file a formal complaint, we need someone to catch it on the back end. We need a formal compliance review. There needs to be a receiver on the other end that actually reviews the complaints and brings them to resolution. That's why we are working with legislators on an Arizona Citizen Compliance Review and Corrective Action Project. We have 2 legislators that are working with us, but we need your help to put pressure on them to move it forward, and any other legislator we can get to help move this forward. This is about transparency and holding county processes accountable to the people. It gives citizens and elected officials a clear place to send a legitimate concern and know somebody qualified will actually review your concern and get it fixed. We need to stop relying on email and make the process work for us, the people. Lastly, citizens can get a path toward resolution. This is possible, you guys. Elected officials can also get a tool to help their constituents, because these elected officials are also concerned. They want to bring our concerns someplace, but there's no compliance review for them either. So this would help everybody. This way, government gets an opportunity to catch and fix problems before they become systemic issues. We're going to play a video next that paints this picture as to why the contract compliance and citizens' complaints require this corrective action. This is going to give us the transparency that we are desperately seeking in government. Thank you. Please come back and see me at the end. I have the contract out there. I'd like to show you what I saw.
Wow. Wow. Oh, gosh.
So now we have to see the video.
Yes, we're going to watch the video, but thank you so much for coming. If you do have questions, she's going to be back there. Give a hand to Jamie. How many LDs have you been to? 3 so far? All right. You've been doing a great job.